Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Valrico here, and today I'm bringing you another let's talk about / kind of review of Gears of War 4. Now, for people who don't know, I've said this in a previous video, I've never played a Gears of War game, so this should be an interesting take on Gears of War. Because, you know, a lot of people that have played Gears of War 4 have played all the other ones. I have not. Not because I thought the games were trash or anything like that. I was on PlayStation, so I didn't play Gears of War. Actually take that back. I had Xbox 360 for a little bit. I played Halo 3 online. And then I got a PlayStation because I wanted to play with my friends. And so I never really played any Gears of War game. I think I bought the first one maybe, or the second one. Whatever, I think maybe the third one, I don't know. And I played it for like 15 minutes and just didn't like it. I didn't really, you know, it was during that era where Call of Duty was dominant. So I was like, man, this ain't no Call of Duty. It was one of those things. Call of Duty really ruined gaming for a good, you know, 8 years because that was the only game people played, you know, from modern Call of Duty 4 on to fucking Black Ops 2. I mean, they just had a run there of great games. But anyways, Gears of War 4, great game. Now I picked a certain part of the game to where I don't show any spoilers. It's just mostly me killing enemies for the most part. This is a pretty action-packed part of the game. This is where you first come in contact with the swarm for the very first time. So I'll leave it at that. My original first clip was going to be a cutscene in this video, but then I was like, ooh, that's kind of spoilery. Let me get that out of here. So I just put it back to just, you know, me having a few different encounters with enemies. But let's talk about it. The graphics are very nice. Very nice. I'm kind of tired of Unreal Engine, which is what this game's running on. Only because I would like these developers to make their own engine. Alright? And make a game from the ground up rather than using Unreal Engine, which is one of the most used engines in gaming at the moment. I'm just over Unreal Engine, to be honest. Although it's a very good engine to develop games, you know, Fortnite's running on Unreal Engine, so I really can't say like the biggest game in the world is running on Unreal Engine, so I can't even trash them. But I'm just kind of tired of Unreal Engine. Like when you know, at E3 when you seen what Kojima did with the Decima engine, which was the Horizon Zero Dawn engine, which is I believe it built from the ground up engine for Horizon Zero Dawn. It might have been used for Killzone Shadowfall, I'm not sure, but the way he took, because if you look at how Kojima took the Decima engine and used it versus how Horizon used it, it's two totally different things. His shit looks photorealistic, it looks crazy. So I like when developers take engines and make them their own. Like this, the Unreal Engine is just, I feel like, overused. But that's not a big deal. The game still looks fucking nice. It looks fucking amazing. When you blow people up with the shotgun, pretty much, you just blow them the fuck up. It's fucking delicious. It feels so good. Boom, look at that shit. Gore and guts going everywhere. That's, you know, the name of the game when it comes to Gears of War. So graphics are a big improvement, obviously, from the last Gears of War, which I think is Judgment or whatever. So, you know, I like to grade sequels on how much they improve from the last game rather than grading them on their peers of other games that are, you know, third person or similar to this game. So graphically I would give it a 10 only because it's a sequel and it improved upon the last game. Now if this was a standalone very first game that, you know, is the very first Gears of War ever being made, I'd give this probably a 8.5 on graphics. It's not gonna blow your socks away, you know, but it's a solid graphical looking game. It's very nice, especially right here. Like, look how pretty this looks. You know, you got the light shafts coming through the window, and this, I don't know what those are, these little pods or whatever blowing up, and all that orange goo's going everywhere. Like this part of the game looks beautiful. It really does. So anyways, the sound. I love the sound of this game. This sound gets a 10. I love the sound of this game, especially in multiplayer because you can hear enemies all around you. The sound is great. The only gripe I have about the sound is when you fight bigger enemies, they are way louder than all the other enemies. So it's like you have to turn down. I've had to turn down my speakers or my headset whenever I run into some of these bigger enemies. And that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to spoil what kind of enemies they are for people who've never played this game. When you do run into the bigger enemies, though, it's fucking loud. You gotta turn down your headset or your speakers or whatever you're using. It's unbelievable. Okay, how loud it gets. But other than that, the sound, 10. I love it. The sound is great. The gun sounds are great. Just great all around. All right, so gameplay. The gameplay also, I'd probably give it a 9. I like the gameplay. The only reason why I wouldn't give it a 10 is I just don't like the mechanic of your screen shaking as you're trying to sprint. I know that's a mechanic that's been a part of the game, you know, Gears of War franchise since the beginning, but to me it's trash, especially in multiplayer, because I believe that the multiplayer sprint camera shake is way worse than the single player. I remember playing, you know, the other night with my cousin, and I was just like, bro, this fucking camera shake is ridiculous. It really is. It's unbelievable. I wish you could cut it off. It would be great if you could cut it off. I really can't stand the camera shake. I think that's trash. It's not a good mechanic. It doesn't improve upon the gameplay. It actually hinders gameplay. So, I know it's a part of the general history of Gears of War, but I just think that the mechanic is trash, and I think that if they had to do it over again, they wouldn't have put that. Well, I mean, this is a new studio, obviously putting it together. But I think if Cliff Bleszinski was making this game in this year, he would definitely not put that mechanic in the game. It's just a trash mechanic. But other than that, the gameplay is great. I like the cover system on this game. I never played a Gears of War game, so I didn't really know much about the cover system. I like how crispy it is going in and out of cover, rolling and stuff like that. It's just when you get into when you're focused on. Damn, that's another crazy thing. Look at when I'm aiming down sights. I think the water is hitting my gun and bouncing off my gun. I've never seen that. I never really paid attention. That's beautiful. Damn, these graphics on this game are really good. But anyways, I like the fact that you can bounce in and out of cover. I like that. It feels crispy and snappy, and that's probably why Gears of War has been around for so long, and people like the gameplay of it because of how crisp you are getting in and out of cover, especially in multiplayer. Because when you start beasting, you're just in a rhythm of bouncing in and out of cover, taking people's heads off with a Nasher and going back into cover. It's just, I don't know. It's just really good. So, you know, we've done graphics, sound, gameplay. Let's just talk about the multiplayer to finish this video off. The multiplayer I'm addicted to. It is tilting as fuck to lose on that game. For some reason, it makes you very, very competitive on that game. You just want to fuck people up. I don't know what it is about that game. There's a formula in that game that makes you so angry when you die. I haven't been angry when I died in such a long time when it comes to a multiplayer game. And mind you, like I've said in the beginning of this video, I've never played a Gears of War game, so you know, I'm just not used to this. So when I got on it for the first time and I started going off, I'm like, yo, this game is amazing. But when you start getting fucked up, you want to throw your mouse. You just want to take your mouse and just fucking grab it by the cord and just spike it off the ground. And what's crazy is, you know, if you've been following my channel, I've had this game for a while. But I haven't gotten around to playing the story mode for a while because I was literally, I was like, you know what, let's check out the multiplayer first. Let's go see what's cracking in the multiplayer. Because I originally bought this game just to play the single player and kill some shit and have a good time. But then I got I got into that multiplayer and I could not put it down. It was amazing. It was so much fun. It just feels so good to kill somebody with the Nasher and blow their head off. Oh my god, I don't know what it is about this game. This game's a multiplayer, it got me. And I've been maining this multiplayer for a while, and I probably will continue to play this multiplayer throughout the summer because that's how much I enjoyed the multiplayer. The multiplayer for me is a 9. The only reason why I won't give it a 10, which I really want to do, is because they need more weapons. I understand that their system is they want power weapons all over the map, but they could just, it's not hard to make up variations of a shotgun. Like, how about a double barrel shotgun that's a lot more powerful than the Gnasher, but you gotta reload after 2 bullets, and then you can have a variation of the Lancer where it's a little bit more powerful, but it has less rounds and it shoots slower. You know what I'm saying? You can balance and have different variations of different guns, you know, call them a different name pretty much, and you can have different variations of guns in the multiplayer that you can use besides having power weapons scattered all over the map. I love the power weapon situation. I like it a whole, you know, I wish that more multiplayers would do power weapons. I really do, because that's how you keep things balanced. But other than that, I wish they would have put a better variety of guns in the multiplayer. It would make Gears that much better. But with that being said, alright, so this is a punch-in. In my original video I made about this is basically a re-upload, a remix. I forgot to talk about the story mode. I'm sitting there laying in my bed, about to go to sleep, and I right before I go to sleep, I go, oh yeah, I totally forgot to talk about the story in this game. And that pretty much describes how irrelevant and how little I cared about the characters. JD is supposed to be Marcus's son. Irrelevant. They didn't talk about any in the background. They didn't talk about nothing. Kate is irrelevant. She doesn't bring anything to the game except for her crying and whining and trying to act tough. Alright? Now, the black dude, Dell is probably the most charismatic character in the game. I liked him. He always had a funny joke. He always had a hot line every now and again. But other than that, the character development in this game was terrible. I would give it a 5, just to be generous about it. Being nice, give it a 5. But the shit was trash. And that explains why in Gears 5 they're going to change the lead character to be Kate, I guess. But I mean, Kate was trash too, so honestly, the gameplay carried this game so well that even though the story was trash, I looked past it and didn't even think about it when I was making the original version of this video. The gameplay carried this game so hard that I didn't even... I don't care about the story. The story was trash. I don't know about the other 3 Gears games or 4 Gears games, but I know this story, as far as character development goes, it's terrible. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't have any, like, when the game ended, I didn't have any feeling. I was like, it was a pretty fun game. Pretty fun killing the swarm. But other than that, I didn't, like, it was like, okay, alright. So, with that being said, that's all I got to say about the story. That's how bad, you know, the story was. I totally forgot to put it in a review. Oh my god. The story was so whack, I forgot to put it in a review. So, whenever the next game comes out, they need to step that story up. We need something. This shit was trash. Nice set pieces, nice graphics, a lot of fun gameplay moments, but other than that, the story was trash. So with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, /Valrico, twitter.com/Valrico, youtube.com/Valrico, and I'm out of this bitch. Peace.
Well, that was my first and last time on a funicular.